Alright, so for typical sprayer cleaning, I'm going to go over some tips and tricks here. So first thing you want to probably do is make sure there's nothing in the tank. So we'll take out whatever product's in there and put it back into the certain specific thing it goes back into. So if you got densifier, make sure you put it back in the correct densifier buckets. If you have a guard, make sure you put that into the guard buckets. You don't want to cross-contaminate those and cause issues. So just make sure you're putting the right thing to the right bucket. So make sure you empty everything out first, and then we'll start cleaning the sprayer. So I usually like to take the nozzle here. You want to unscrew that. Actually, before you do that, you want to take off the top part. This stuff gets kind of gunked up. So you want to screw that on so you can remove the top part. You want to check the inside of the tip here to make sure that hole there isn't too big or worn down. This one's starting to get there, so we'll probably end up replacing this tip. But you just want to check that because that can affect your spray pattern. And then you want to check in the inside of here, make sure there's nothing inside these little grooves here, and make sure this is kind of clean. Clean this up. So once you got those two off, you can kind of unscrew both of those. And then just kind of rinse those off. If there's anything in here, you can use your knife to kind of scrape out anything if it's stuck in there. Sometimes it just kind of get gunked up. You also want to check there's a little black washer inside there that can wear out as well. So just make sure you check that as well. Set that aside. The next part we can do the handle here. There's a filter inside here. So you want to check that. So you just pull that right out.
Okay.
And you rinse that off, make sure it's not too gunked up. If it's too jammed up, it won't work as well, so we'll get a new one of that. This one seems like it's alright for now. And you want to take off the top part of your gun here. I just like to run water through this. Make sure everything flows out good on that. Also make sure this isn't damaged or broken, so if that can't turn, it won't turn on the handle as well. Set that aside. And then on the handle, there's also a washer in the top part here.
Okay.
So that can wear out. So double check that, and then also you want to turn this. There's a spring inside here. You want to clean that out. Take it out, double check everything. And then there is just a little grommet right here. You want to push that in the handle. And usually I'll push it out with a small screwdriver. You can check that. This, you want to check, make sure it's not worn down, everything's good on there. There's also, we also have this silicone grease. So you want to apply some of that to here, to these two little rubber grommets there. That helps this to move inside here. So go ahead and apply a little bit of that. But yeah, it just looks like a little grease there.
Okay.
Just make sure you're using silicone grease. That's important because if you use a different kind, it can eat away at the things. So you kind of put a little bit on there. And usually I'll rinse this one out. Stick this back in. That'll slide back in there. You can use the spring to push it back through. And you tighten that back on. So you want that to be nice and responsive when you push on it. So that's where you'll, if it's not doing this, like really easy, then you want to put that grease on there inside. And we'll assemble it back together. Let's go back in there. Tip will go back in here. screw back on. You can rotate this top if it's not in the right spot. Put this back on here. And this will screw back on the top. This part's also how you adjust the sprayer pattern as well. So if you lessen it, it'll do more of a cone pattern, and if you tighten it up, it'll do more of a straight shot. So usually want to do a nice cone pattern. So like I said, make sure this is not worn down because it'll mess up your cone pattern and kind of drip more if that hole is bigger than it should be.
And about how big should it be?
Like this is probably too big. It should just be like, I don't know, it's a lot smaller. I'll show you a new one here
Okay.
in a minute if I find one. And then for the tank, just want to make sure you rinse everything out. Double check this, make sure you got the rubber washer here, make sure that's sealed there. You can also put some of that silicone there if it starts to have a little air leak. There's also a little rubber stopper here. This can wear out, you can replace that. There's also a little rubber grommet inside here on this part here that will wear out too, so we can replace that. That's just you just take these two screws out, and then these two pieces pop off, and this can slide out, and you can replace the little round rubber thing that's on the bottom of this. So that can get all junked up as well, so make sure you're checking that. You should rinse that off too. I usually run water through this to make sure there's nothing gunked up inside there. Kind of clean that out a little bit. Pull this up a little bit. Now it's filled up all the way, just enough to get enough water in there you can kind of clean around. Usually this one's been pretty cleaned already, so it's not too bad. So if you do get one though, sometimes you'll keep rinsing it till it rinses out clear with water. And just kind of make sure you get all the water out of it. The one I'm cleaning right now is a densifier one, and right here we have stickers on it that say clean with water. So this one you can just clean with water, make sure everything's cleaned out there. Kind of dump out the tank, make sure there's not water in there. That's that. You can assemble your gun, so this will screw back into here. And if you're not sure how clean it is through the tip here, you can always fill it up with water and test it out. Make sure you got a good spray pattern there. So it's a good test to do on that. And we'll screw back on there. You can also check to make sure that, so you can check the seal on that. You can also check this, make sure this has a good seal on this. Because if this starts wearing out, there's a little valve in here. If that starts wearing out, this will pop up and then it won't hold air when you try to pump it up. So that's something to check for. So that's we did densifier, and then also have the other one, which is our guard sprayer. It's labeled as SB guard sprayer, and this says clean with mineral spirits. So this one you don't want to mix with water because that'll gum up the stuff in there. SB guard doesn't work well with water, so you'll want to use a paint thinner to clean that out. So if I was cleaning this one out, take it off, kind of go through what you did before, but like I said, you can clean the gun and stuff. That's with water as long as you're not touching this. I wouldn't put water through this though, so if you need to clean this out, I'd put a little bit of the paint thinner into there and rinse it through out that way. Same thing with this, dump some in there, kind of clean that around, wash it around, so just make sure you're using the right type of cleaner for the right sprayer.